It is officially springtime, and that means it's time to talk about quarterback battles around the country. In this video, I will break down the epic quarterback battle that is shaping up for the 2023 season down in Austin, Texas. Who will emerge as the starter for the Longhorns? Quinn Ewers, Arch Manning, or Maalik Murphy? We will take a look at each quarterback's journey to Texas, their strengths and their weaknesses, and their chances of winning the starting job. Stay tuned for an in-depth and exciting video on the Texas Longhorns quarterback battle for 2023. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more videos like this. Which quarterback battle do you want me to talk about next? Make sure to let me know in the comment section below. Before we start talking about who's going to win the starting job, let's go over each quarterback's backstory and how they ended up in Austin. Quinn Ewers grew up in the Southlake, Texas area, which is near the Dallas-Fort Worth area. When Ewers was young, Quinn and his father came up with a game where they would catch a football with one hand and throw it back without changing the grip. Another rule was that they needed to throw a perfect spiral or the streak would be broken. Quinn would get better and better at the game, and games would take longer and longer until someone threw a wobbly pass back. The other thing about this game was it took place in their family's living room. As a result, lamps and pictures went down along with the heads of Quinn's mother's ceramic angels that would need to be glued back on. Quinn's father, Curtis, was a high school quarterback himself back in the day and told 24/7 Sports, "Quinn and I roughhoused from the moment he came out of the womb." With Quinn adding, "There were marks all over the walls of our old house from footballs and basketballs." Quinn's mother embraced the idea of playing ball in the house and decided to stop buying fragile things. When Quinn was 4, he was able to throw the ball 15 to 20 yards down the field, and that's when his father decided he should maybe get his son some special training. Quinn and his father were always throwing footballs around together, whether it was at the local football field or in their backyard. They were always playing together. A couple years later, Curtis took Quinn to meet famed high school coach Sonny Detmer when Quinn was in 1st or 2nd grade. Curtis knew Detmer from growing up in San Antonio, with Detmer being the father of former NFL quarterback Ty and Coy Detmer. Ty actually won the Heisman Trophy at BYU. Sonny projected Ewers to be a star, with Curtis telling 24/7 Sports, "Sonny told me you try and teach a quarterback to do 8 things. Things like balance, throwing motion, and Sonny said Quinn is already doing all of them correctly." Not long after that, the Ewers family moved to the Dallas, Texas area, more specifically Southlake, a suburb of the city. Quinn's mother was a 4th grade teacher and helped recruit kids during recess to play on Quinn's flag football team, according to 24/7 Sports. As wins piled up in football, so did the amount of people telling the Ewers family that Quinn was a special player. But the family took it with a grain of salt because you never really know. Ewers attended Southlake Carroll High School, which is known for producing quarterbacks like Chase Daniels, Greg McElroy, and current head coach Riley Dodge, who won 3 state titles as a player. Going into high school, Quinn was not focused on college recruiting. He was more focused on being the next great Southlake Carroll High School quarterback and focused on protecting the tradition. He tried to learn by watching the way Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers played. Going to his freshman year, he also decided to start rocking a bleach blonde mullet. The bleached blonde hair is a normal thing for the Dragons players to do, as they have been bleaching their hair blonde for 2 decades as a sign of brotherhood. The reason for the mullet was because he wanted to do his own thing. Like many Southlake Carroll quarterbacks, Ewers had to wait his turn, sitting behind Liberty quarterback Will Bowers and getting his first varsity experience as a punter in the state playoffs. Through 3 games, Ewers punted the ball 7 times, averaging 45.3 yards per punt, with 3 punts inside the 20 and a long punt of 73 yards. Going into Ewers' sophomore year, it was his turn to take over the starting quarterback spot. Ewers told 24/7 Sports, "All my teammates were saying it may seem fast at first, but it will slow down. But I never felt the speed where it was too fast. Coach Dodge was a huge part in that. Him having that confidence in me to hear me out there and believe in me put more confidence in myself, and it worked out." Ewers exploded onto the scene, throwing for 4,003 yards, 45 touchdowns, and just 3 interceptions as a sophomore. He also rushed for 568 yards and 9 touchdowns on the ground. Ewers' best game of the season probably came in the last game of the season against a loaded Duncanville team, where he threw for 393 yards and 3 touchdowns in a 49-35 loss in the quarterfinals of the state playoffs. Ewers threw for 4 or more touchdowns in 6 games and threw for at least 250 yards in 10 games, leading the Dragons to a 13-1 record. After the Duncanville game, a staff member from a high-profile program texted 24/7 Sports saying Quinn Ewers might be QB1. During his sophomore year, Ewers succeeded on unscheduled plays and spent more time with Dodge than his own family, getting to Southlake before school for football-related activities, and staying late after practice. Dodge told 24/7 Sports, "We have a pretty special relationship. It was cool I got to get in here on the front end of his career, and we built a really good relationship based on football and then off the field. And obviously the sky's the limit for him and whatever he wants to do." Throughout his sophomore year, the scholarship offers from high-profile schools started rolling in, but Ewers was not planning on committing till after his junior season. Quinn's father told 24/7 Sports, "What we told Quinn from the beginning was to live in the moment and enjoy it all, and all that was going to come to you will take care of itself, and that's what Quinn has done. Obviously, it's been exciting. We're so blessed Quinn has the opportunity to keep playing the game for a few more years, and you never know what's going to happen from there. He envisions himself being an NFL quarterback, but you don't want to get caught up in the hype." Going into his junior year, Ewers was focused on getting better, telling 24/7 Sports, "The interception to touchdown ratio was really good this year. I'm trying to put up numbers like that again and go deeper with my team in the playoffs." Although COVID-19 caused the Texas high school season to start late, Ewers played extremely well, proving to be in midseason form, throwing for 388 yards and 5 touchdowns and completing 77.8% of his passes in a 72-57 win over Rockwell Heat. Ewers would miss part of the season after getting surgery for a sports hernia, with him telling DallasNews.com, "There was a whole lot of physical therapy. I'm just trying to get back here for this specific date. Obviously, it all worked out as planned, so I'm grateful to be back here. Being back just feels amazing, and it's going to be good to be back on the field with pads and a helmet on, and a football in my hand." In his return, playing at 50% because he couldn't run, Ewers threw for 251 yards and 3 touchdowns, helping his team advance in the playoffs. He followed that performance up, completing 90.2% of his passes for 450 yards and 6 touchdowns in a 59-35 win over Trinity. Southlake Carroll finally got over the hump when it came to playing Duncanville, beating them 34-27 for a spot in the state championship. Ewers' 352 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions were not enough to beat Austin Westlake and Dodge's father in the state championship game. Ewers finished the season throwing for 2,442 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions in 8 games, as Southlake Carroll finished 12-2. Ewers was viewed as the best player in the 2021 recruiting cycle with a perfect rating of a 1.0000 by 24/7 Sports Composite. He received over 29 different Division I offers from the likes of Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Oklahoma, and Texas. Originally, Ewers committed to the Texas Longhorns. He would later decommit from the Longhorns, flipping to Ohio State, explaining his decision saying, "Probably because the Texas team hasn't been in the running for a national championship in a little while. And I don't know about other guys, but like me, I just want to be able to compete at the highest level. Obviously, one day they will be able to get back there, and it'll be great. But right now, I'm just tired of seeing that happen. Obviously, Texas A&M was really close last year." Ewers joined a crowded quarterback room at Ohio State and actually reclassified a class, graduating a year early from high school to capitalize on NIL compensation. After 1 year at Ohio State, Ewers decided to transfer closer to home, choosing to go to the school he originally committed to out of high school, because he also felt homesick. He explained his transfer to Texas, saying, "I grew up always watching the Longhorns play. Wanted to be in the burnt orange. There was always a little obstacle in between, but I ended up here. I'm very thankful for all the opportunities God has given me, and I'm just excited to be back in my home state. I feel like I kind of committed more emotionally speaking out about Ohio State. At the end of the day, I ended up where I think I should be. That's all there is to it." That's the reason he gave for deciding to transfer. Ewers beat Hudson Card to win the starting quarterback job last season. Despite suffering a shoulder injury against Alabama in Week 2 last year, Ewers won Big 12 Newcomer of the Year honors after completing 58% of his passes for 2,177 yards and 15 touchdowns as the Longhorns jumped from 5-7 to 8-5. However, Arch Manning's arrival in Austin as one of the most high-profile recruits in years has people talking about a quarterback battle in Austin and Manning automatically getting the starting gig. Speaking of which, Arch Manning is from the New Orleans area and comes from a long line of football legends. He is the grandson of Archie Manning and nephew of Peyton and Eli. Even his father Cooper played football until a spinal condition derailed his career. One of my favorite stories I came across from ESPN, back in July, Texas head coach Steve Sarkisian FaceTimed Arch while he was babysitting at an arcade. Nelson Stewart, Arch's high school head coach, told ESPN he has such a good level of humility. He doesn't like attention and he doesn't draw attention to himself. He just likes hanging out with his friends. Arch mostly stays off social media and leaves his social media in private with just over 1,700 followers, which is an anomaly. To Put that in perspective, Malachi Nelson at the time had nearly 23,000 followers. At least for now, Arch17 prefers to keep details of his day-to-day life and where he might be going to college private. Manning doesn't care for the hype around him, telling ESPN, "I think I am a regular guy on the team. I think Newman and New Orleans do a good job with that. I'm just a regular student and high school football player. I think outside of New Orleans, they try to hype me up. But I don't really think much about the whole Manning deal. I'm just trying to enjoy high school." Stewart's goal was to always give his star quarterback as much of a normal life as possible. Cooper Manning followed his father's footsteps that prohibited playing tackle football until it was offered by the school, with Arch playing flag until middle school. Manning attended Isidore Newman High School, the same as the rest of his family, where he took over the starting quarterback job as a freshman, becoming the first to do so in over 40 years, throwing for 2,438 yards, 34 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, helping the Greenies go 9-2 and make it to the second round of the playoffs in Louisiana's Division III bracket. As a sophomore, Arch led the Greenies to a 9-1 record and made it to the state semifinals for the Division III state playoffs. Finished the year throwing for 1,922 yards, 21 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. This past year, the 6'4", 215-pound junior threw for 1,371 yards, 17 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions in 7 games. In the 7 games that were reported to Max Prep, helping the Greenies go 7-3, making it to the second round of the playoffs. During his junior year, while Kirby Smart was on the sideline, Isidore Newman played Tampa Bay Berkeley Prep on ESPNU. Arch Manning had a stellar senior season at Isidore Newman, leading the team to a 9-1 record and breaking several school records along the way. He completed 124 of his 188 passes for 2,013 yards and 31 touchdowns with only 2 interceptions. He also rushed for 246 yards and 3 touchdowns on 47 carries. He broke the school record for career passing yards with 9,449, career passing touchdowns with 131, single-game passing touchdowns with 7, and single-season passing touchdowns with 31, surpassing his uncles Peyton and Eli Manning. He was named the Louisiana Gatorade Player of the Year and a finalist for the national award. He led his team to the Division III state semifinals where they lost to St. Charles Catholic 17-13. Arch finished as the top player in the 2023 recruiting cycle and received over 13 different Division I offers from the likes of Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, LSU, and Texas. During his recruitment, Georgia and Texas were viewed as the early frontrunners for Manning's talents, but the Manning name carries a lot of weight at Ole Miss. During an ESPN broadcast for one of Isidore Newman's high school games, ESPN analyst Mark Schlaubach said that Texas, Georgia, and Alabama seemed to be in pretty good positions. When Arch visited Georgia, fans painted on their bodies spelling out, "We want Arch." He ultimately chose Steve Sarkisian and Texas because of Coach Sark's scheme and track record of developing quarterbacks. He also liked the culture and tradition of Texas football and their fan support. The idea of Texas joining the SEC also did not hurt their case as well. Arch Manning is a talented quarterback with a strong arm, good accuracy and quick release, and excellent pocket presence. He can make all the throws on the field, from deep ball to touch passes to back shoulder fades. He can also extend plays with his mobility and run for yards when needed. Some of his weaknesses are his tendencies to force some throws into tight windows, his occasional lapse in footwork and mechanics, and his lack of experience against elite competition. He will need to work on his decision-making, consistency, and physical development at the next level. He will not back down to Quinn when it comes to the starting quarterback job, and he will have the help from his uncle Eli. Eli went on the Pat McAfee show and said he's already at Texas right now going through spring ball, and I want to be a resource for him. But I'd never want to be the guy saying, "Hey, you got to be doing this. You got to be doing some of that. You got to learn on the run. You just got to go in there. Go be a freshman in college. Figure things out. Figure out your schedule." While Quinn and Arch are viewed as the favorites to win the job, there's one more player you can't count out yet. Maalik Murphy grew up in Gardena, California, and attended Junipero Sierra High School. He stood at 6'5" and weighed 230 pounds and was described as looking like a defensive end during the Elite 11 before throwing the ball. Before we get to his Elite 11, let's go back and look at his high school career so far. Like I mentioned already, Murphy attended Junipero Sierra High School. Unlike most 4- and 5-star prospects, Murphy did not start his freshman and sophomore year. He sat and waited his turn. During his freshman year, Murphy played in 1 game, completing 2 of his 3 passes for 9 yards. As a sophomore, he had the opportunity to play in 5 games, completing 26 of his 58 passes for 305 yards and 2 interceptions. Going into his junior year, it was finally time for Murphy to shine. Then the global health crisis caused the 2020 California season to be postponed until the spring. Going into the season, Murphy was named a Max Prep 2020 preseason junior All-American. The issue was the postponement caused Murphy, who was a 5-star at one point, to drop in their rankings because he had still not started a game. By the time the spring season came around, Murphy was already committed to play at a Power 5 school before he ever started a snap. Going into the year, Murphy spoke about the season saying, "I want people to know my love for the game and how excited I am about just getting a sniff of my junior year. It's been a crazy time with everything going on, but I've never given up, never got sidetracked. I kept my main goal in front of my head and just kept working, getting stronger, getting faster, getting smarter." During the spring opener, Murphy completed 56.2% of his passes for 252 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions in a 27-21 loss to Long Beach Poly. The Cavaliers proceeded to go on a 4-game win streak, with Murphy throwing for 201 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception, 134 yards, a touchdown and an interception, 301 yards and 3 touchdowns, and 216 yards and 1 touchdown. During the season finale, Murphy threw for 157 yards and 1 touchdown in a 25-24 loss, leading the Cavaliers to a final record of 4-2 and 4-1 in conference. He finished the season throwing for 1,261 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions, while completing 55.2% of his passes in 6 games. Murphy had a solid senior year at Junipero Sierra High School, leading the team to an 11-4 record and a Division III state semifinal appearance. He completed 202 of his 321 passes for 2,973 yards and 22 touchdowns with 9 interceptions. He also rushed for 82 yards and 6 touchdowns on 42 carries. He was named the California Gatorade Player of the Year and a finalist for national awards. Murphy bounced back from an injury scare in the quarterfinals against Etiwanda when he hurt his ankle and had to leave the game. He returned to lead his team to a comeback win and then threw for 3 touchdowns in the semifinal against Long Beach Poly. He said he was motivated by his commitment to Texas and his desire to finish his high school career on a high note. Murphy is one of 2 quarterbacks that Texas signed in the 2022 recruiting class, with Cole Lord being the other. He will enroll early at Texas and participated in spring practice, giving him a chance to compete for playing time and learn from Coach Sark. He said he chose Texas because of the culture, tradition, fan base, and coaching staff. Murphy was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school, being rated as the 12th best quarterback in the 2022 cycle, according to 24/7 Sports Composite. He had received over 31 different offers from the likes of Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, and USC. According to 24/7 Sports, Murphy's first Division I offer came on June 11, 2018, followed by LSU, Indiana, and Florida State that December, and Ohio State at the end of January of 2019. Florida offered in April, Texas offered in May, and Alabama offered that December. I say all this to prove that he was viewed by a lot of people to be a special player before he ever stepped into the starting quarterback role. In early February, Malik Murphy committed to Texas over UCLA, telling 24/7 Sports, "Texas was the only school on my list that I couldn't find a single negative about. Football is the biggest thing going into Texas. It's more than just a sport. It's a staple of life, and everyone is so passionate about it there." Murphy spoke highly on newly hired Texas head coach Steve Sarkisian at the time, saying, "I think he's the perfect coach to prepare me for the next level. He's a Cali guy and someone I'm really comfortable with. I look at what he's done in the past and how he develops quarterbacks, and I think he could help me reach my goals, which are to play in the NFL. I love his offense, and I think I fit in it really well with what he wants to do scheme-wise." Originally, Texas had a verbal commitment from the number 1 player in the class of 2022, Quinn Ewers, who would go on to decommit from the Longhorns, which basically served as the nail in the coffin for the Tom Herman era in Austin. This has caused some to knock Murphy as a quarterback prospect, which is unfair and completely false in my opinion. The buzz around Maalik Murphy came during the Steve Clarkson quarterback retreat back in 2019. Murphy attended the camp along with elite college quarterbacks such as Trevor Lawrence, Tua Tagovailoa, and Sam Ehlinger. During one of the organized camp competitions, Murphy launched the ball 74 yards through the air, showing off his arm strength. He continued to perform well at the retreat and had elite measurables and arm talent, which propelled him to being one of the top recruits in the recruiting class. Murphy continued to succeed at quarterback camps during the spring, tearing it up at the Elite 11 Los Angeles camp, which earned him an invite to the Elite 11 finals. He joined a list of Longhorns such as Hudson Card, Roshan Johnson, Sam Ehlinger, Shane Buechele, Gerard Hurd, Tyron Swoops, Garrett Gilbert, Jevin Need, Vince Young, and Chance Mock to be invited to the camp. Going to the Elite 11 camp, Murphy knew all the criticism surrounding him, with Ari Wasserman from The Athletic saying, "If you're unaware, here's a list of knocks he may have read about him on message boards or in comment sections. 1. He only started 6 high school games. How does he deserve his top 100 ranking? 2. He has thrown 9 touchdown passes and 4 interceptions in his high school career. 3. He is only a so-so high school quarterback because he's so raw. He only got a spot at Texas because of the 2022 peer 5-star quarterback Quinn Ewers of Southlake, Carroll, decommitting and committing to Ohio State. Murphy had read and heard it all. He knew what people thought about him, and he used the Elite 11 camp as a place to prove the doubters wrong. If he was not as good as everybody thought he would have been, it would have shown as he was competing against some of the top-ranked quarterbacks in his class. The results? Murphy proved he belonged with the tight spiral that pierced through the air, hitting the wide receivers with force, according to The Athletic. One national analyst joked, "What's funny is he's the worst high school quarterback on the field right now." He didn't mean it as an insult. He said it as an illustration of how far Murphy's athleticism alone has taken him. Here's the thing that shows the maturity of Murphy. He agrees with all the criticism, explained to The Athletic, "I'm definitely not at my peak yet, and that's what's good about me. I don't want to hit my peak in high school. Why would I want to do that? I want people to look back at these days and remember where I came from when I finally get to where I know I'm going to be." What you get in Murphy is an extremely raw prospect who has not spent years working with quarterback coaches. Everything he has achieved has been through pure natural athleticism. Elite 11 president Brian Stumpf told The Athletic, "We saw him 4 weeks ago at the Elite 11 Regional in Los Angeles. You could see he's already taken steps forward from what we were talking about back then, which is what you want to see out of a prospect participating in our event. You want to see growth. He's a young guy. He's a sponge who is soaking everything up, and you can see the development happening before your eyes." Quinn Ewers spoke highly on Murphy, telling The Athletic, "We are good friends now, and I'm excited to see what he'll do for the University of Texas. I know he's going to do big things. He's an athlete with an amazing arm talent. He'll get the job done." When it comes to the scouting report, Greg Biggins projected Murphy to be a day-to-day starter with his comparison to Jameis Winston. Malik did not see any playing time as a freshman as he was behind Quinn Ewers and Hudson Card on the depth chart. Murphy had enrolled early at Texas in January of 2022 after leading his high school team to the state championship in December of 2021. However, he suffered a severe ankle injury in his final high school game and had to undergo surgery. He missed the first 3 practices of spring ball and was limited for the rest of the spring. Murphy recovered from his injury and was fully participating in fall camp, but he was unable to beat out Ewers or Card for the starting job. He received second-team reps during practice and was ready to step in if needed. He also continued to learn from Coach Sark and developed his skills as a quarterback. The Texas quarterback battle in 2023 will be one of the most intriguing and competitive in college football. Longhorns have 3 elite quarterbacks on the roster, all former 5-star recruits, and 2 of which were the #1 overall prospects in their respective classes. They are Quinn Ewers, a redshirt sophomore transfer from Ohio State and won the starting job in 2022. He threw for 2,177 yards and 15 touchdowns with 6 interceptions and led Texas to an 8-5 record and a bowl win. He has a strong arm, quick release, and a lot of confidence. Arch Manning, a true freshman who enrolled early in January of 2023 after leading his high school team to a state championship. He's the nephew of Peyton and Eli Manning and the grandson of Archie Manning, all NFL legends. He has exceptional intuition, awareness, and command of the game, as well as good touch and accuracy. Maalik Murphy, a redshirt freshman who missed the 2022 season due to an ankle injury. He is a physically gifted passer with a cannon of an arm and a smooth delivery. He was a runner-up at the Elite 11 competition in 2021, ahead of Ewers. Coach Sark has not named a starter for 2023 yet, but he has said that he wants the competition and that he will not hold Manning back from challenging Ewers. He also said that he wants to see Murphy's improvement and that he was impressed by his progress. Sark is known for his offensive scheme and his track record of developing quarterbacks such as Mac Jones, Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Hurts, and Matt Leinart. The quarterback battle will likely continue throughout the spring practice, fall camp, and possibly into the season. It will depend on how each quarterback performs, how consistent they are, and how well they fit the offense. It is possible that more than one quarterback will see playing time in 2023, depending on the situation and their game plan. It is also possible that one or more of them will transfer if they're not satisfied with their role. Either way, Texas fans should be excited about having 3 elite quarterbacks on their roster. If I had to predict who the starting quarterback will be for the 2023 season, I believe it will be Quinn Ewers. Ewers was impressive last year and almost led the Longhorns to an upset win over Alabama before he got hurt. I still believe he is a special player, and I find it wild that this is even considered a quarterback battle. I think Ewers wins the starting job, puts up insane numbers, and decides to declare for the NFL draft after the season as Texas brings themselves back into the national picture and people exclaim that they are back. I think this time next year we'll be sitting here saying who will win the starting quarterback battle, Maalik Murphy or Arch Manning. If I had to predict the depth chart for this season, it will probably be the way I went over these 3 players' backstories. Quinn, Arch, Malik. I would also not be surprised if Maalik Murphy decides to jump into the transfer portal later this spring. Sark told the media last month, "I think Quinn had a really good winter conditioning kind of off-season. I think he got himself in a really good shape. He definitely feels more comfortable. He's throwing the ball very naturally, very comfortably. From a decision-making standpoint, the reads are just happening that much quicker. that much more decisive. So to close this out, I believe Quinn Ewers will be the starting quarterback this fall. What do you think? Who will Texas' starting quarterback be this season, and what quarterback battle do you want me to talk about next? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos right here. Don't forget to leave a like and to subscribe for more college football content. Thank you so much for watching. I could not be more thankful for y'all. You guys make this all possible for me, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.